Maverick here, preparing to pursue target. Talk to me, Quarter Black Goose.
Roger that. Quarter Black Goose here. You give him hell. I got your 6.
Okay. I have target locked.
We see this as a violent threat.
You bet your sweet ass, Jack Dorsey. Engaging target.
Roger that, Maverick.
Damn it! Missed him.
Maverick? Looks like you have company on your tail.
When did Zuckerberg get here?
As long as there are people spreading misinformation, this is going to be an ongoing conflict.
Well, this complicates things.
Seems like my invite got lost in the mail.
Too cute, Matt.
Tell him to put the Zima on ice. Now the party's started.
I got a call that some boys were trying to do a woman's job.
Yeah, I've heard it all before.
Let me show you boys how a real lady does.
Too cute, Maddie!
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Help me! Oh my God! It burns! Oh my God!
Hell. Looks like you have a Wojcicki on your 5.
We have community guidelines. To anything that promotes hate, we will take it down.
This day just keeps getting better and better.
Wouldn't be so sure. I can't shake her. Oh, shoot. She's locked onto me.
Quarter Black Goose!
Ordered a half-Asian ass-kicking.
Half-Asian lawyer Bill Richmond!
Half-Asian lawyer Bill Richmond. You son of a bitch.
Don't worry, boys. I got this.
That's what I'm talking about! Woo!
Looks like you just got sucker burned.
Woo! China man, go get some.
Hey, Jack, you know the difference between precedent and precedence?
I don't have answers to that.
Because I'm about to set one. Right on your ass.
He got all of that one! Did you see
Yo,
that?
Maverick, world star that shit.
He's a f***ing marvel.
Oh, hey, Susan. You ordered no MSG, right? Yeah, I hear it's bad for your health. You know what's worse? Me. Don't worry, boys. Looks like I'm gonna have to do this the old-fashioned
Half-Asian
way.
lawyer Bill, no!
Whoa!
Satoshi Daterosaga!
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Half-Asian lawyer Bill Richmond, talk to me. Do you read me, half-Asian lawyer Bill Richmond?
You boys didn't think you could get rid of me that easy, did you?
Half-Asian Bill, you're alive! Yeah!
We thought you were a goner, half-Asian Bill.
And miss all those billable hours? Not a chance.
I'm just glad you're okay. Just checked your Laddie and Longo. Looks like you'll be landing in Palo Alto before beer o'clock.
Palo Alto? Oh, shit.
Join Mug Club today at louderwithcrowder.com/mugclub. Use promo code military for $10 off an annual membership all month long. And 10% of all proceeds will be donated to military charities.
All right. It's a slow news day, which here at Ladder Cutter we call the funnest days. Because, then we pretty much get to do whatever we want.
That's nice.
Not exactly. Okay, there is some stuff going on in the news, and you probably should know this. Let's bring it up. Kristi Noem. She's not going to be VP. We'll tell you why. And there is a short list, though, as to who it may be. Also, something else. There's a silver lining here. There's been a lot of blowback to the protests, the Hamas protests on campus. That's kind of a surprise, I think, to the left. They, of course, initiated Black Lives Matter, Antifa. They came out, and then that kind of worked for a while. There's blowback here. The pendulum is swinging. Now you have former Vice President Joe Biden trying to pander. His pandering knows no bounds now. It's all right, let's forgive more loans. Now let's increase the uselessness of them, like the Institute for the Arts. And, let's give them weed.
Yeah, weed.
Let's bring in Palestinian refugees. It's bad, but it also shows desperation. And I believe that his newest actions will, too, have blowback. So, let me ask you that. You think the pendulum is swinging the other way? You think this is a sign of desperation and some blowback? And who do you think President Trump should pick for vice president?
You. Absolutely you.
Dump it. If at some point today you see this on YouTube, head on over to Rumble. It's a live show, weekdays, 10 a.m. Eastern, no matter what, rain or shine. I mean, ish. Captain Morgan, CEO. Number 2, how are you, sir?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Good.
Everybody healthy? My whole family's sick.
Really?
Yeah.
Just throwing that in there.
What happened? How are they sick?
They're sick. Like colds.
AIDS?
Well, not AIDS.
Okay, well then they're not that sick. It could be worse.
No,
they're
that's
sick in
fine.
the head.
No truck
Look
stops.
on the bright side. They don't have AIDS.
Not diagnosed yet.
No, not diagnosed. Depending on how much time they spent in truck stops.
Not
and,
them, me.
And also today we have exclusive. We sent down our on-the-ground correspondent for the first time, Thomas Finnegan, to the protests.
Really?
And we will have that package for you.
For
Yes.
real this time.
For real.
Did he die?
Close to it.
I went with him.
And yes, he did. And when you hear that voice, you know him. You love him. And it's Military Appreciation Month, so we do appreciate him. You can watch his special American on Mug Club and follow him, Josh_Firestone. How are you, Josh?
I'm doing good. My family's also sick.
Really?
Different kind of sick, though. They're freaking sick, dude.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they're sick-ass people.
Oh, that's, in Canada, they say, they'll say chill, or what I really don't like is they'll say jokes.
Jokes?
Man, that's so jokes.
What?
And maybe want to harm people.
Bunch of weirdos, man.
They would say, that's so
God bless
jokes.
'em.
That's so jokes. I heard it for the first time. I'm not going to lie. I hit somebody.
Really?
Yeah,
Who's
violently.
your brother?
That's better than this, though.
What are you, West Side Story? You
Yeah,
play-
they do that. People do that at some hip,
Played it cool.
super woke comedy shows. They'll go,
Oh,
because
man.
the joke wasn't funny. They
That's
disagree with it.
Where you just say, after take a potty break, you leave and you release the nerve gas. So,
I call it a fart. You call it nerve gas.
no, I mean a biochemical weapon. All right.
Oh, wow.
So, I don't know if you know this. Let's move on here with Kristi Noem.
From mass murder to this. Yes, let's please.
Mass murder to this. They go to sleep. They wake up with a headache. They're none the wiser. We found out, of course, last week, Kristi Noem. It's not that she shot her dog. I want to be really clear here because you get some people, unfortunately, conservatives, who feel the need to defend everything and say, I think it's a good thing that she shot her dog. You people don't live on a farm. No. I understand. I know people who've had to put dogs down.
Yeah.
I know a dog trainer who would have to do it. She would take in dogs. This was kind of their last stop. And if they were aggressive, she would have to advocate putting dogs down and do it herself. It's a reality that I do accept. It's not lost on me. The problem for Kristi Noem is she did so gleefully.
She bragged about it.
Yeah.
Whistle while you work?
Yes.
Come on, that's a terrible song.
You can kind of, well, if you that's my read on it. If she said I had to put down the dog because it had attacked people and it was sad, I don't think anyone would have batted an eye, but I hated that dog. And boy, pulling that trigger made me feel godlike.
Seeing the last glimmer of light.
Yes, that's exactly. Well, here's the thing. That's pretty bad. What's also bad is she's now been caught lying about meeting Kim Jong-un. This happened.
So you write about lessons learned in leadership, and you bring up some specific incidents I want to ask you about. You talk about meeting some world leaders, and one specific one, quote, I remember when I met with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, I'm sure he underestimated me, having no clue about my experience staring down little tyrants. I've been a children's pastor after all. Did you meet Kim Jong-un?
Pretty straightforward.
Well, as soon as this was brought to my attention, I certainly made some changes and looked at this
cheek
passage.
changes?
And I've met with many, many world leaders. I've traveled around the world.
She looks very surprised by the question.
As soon as it was brought to my
She looks
attention,
surprised at everything.
We went forward and have made some edits. So I'm glad
you
that this
write your
book is
book?
being released in a
Of course
couple of
not.
days, and that those
That's
edits
fine.
will be in place, and that people will have the updated version.
So you did not meet with Kim Jong-un. That's what you're saying.
I met with many, many world leaders. Many world leaders. I've traveled around the world. I think I talk extensively in this book about my time serving in Congress, my time as governor, before governor, some of the travels that I've had. I'm not going to talk about my specific meetings with world leaders. I'm just not going to do that. This anecdote shouldn't have been in the book, and as soon as it was brought to my attention, I made sure that was adjusted.
No. It's not that this anecdote shouldn't have been in the book. It's that it's not an anecdote.
It's a human being.
It's fiction.
Yeah, it's fiction. Yeah, this fiction shouldn't have been in my non-fiction book. That's an acceptable answer. I shouldn't have lied. That would be an acceptable answer. Now, I understand that you have ghostwriters. I get that. And you have people, often you'll dictate the book and they write it. And she doesn't want to throw anyone under the bus. For example, I'm not the one who posts the clips to my social media. Why? Because I say it right here and I have people go, oh, you said that. You can clip it. I get that. It's not lost on me. The answer... However,
way to drop accountability there, Steve.
Yeah.
if it's me saying it on camera, fine. I said it. Okay, I get it. But think about just that anecdote shouldn't have been in there. This is the problem. It's identity politics on the right. Both of her mistakes follow the same pattern. She's trying to wedge something in there. It's a little bit of the remember, and I don't have anything against her, but remember when Sarah Palin was talking about being a hockey mom, and she was talking about going out hunting, and then there was that reality show where she was holding a rifle that she had clearly never held. This is where she's like, I'm tough, I'm salt of the earth, I kill dogs. She's trying to appeal to those people. Here it's like, I'm a youth pastor, so I know little tires. It's trying to fit in. I'm a youth pastor, therefore you should vote for me, right? Because I'm a good person. I'm a farmer, therefore you should vote for me, right? Because I'm a good person. Be American, buy American, veteran, all that kind of identity politics that you see on the right. She walked into these mistakes because there were advisors telling her this will appeal to a voting base, and it came back and bit her in the Botoxed ass. She may want to write, I don't know if they do it in the butt, I have no idea. I don't know the wonders of botulism, though I've been told that I should probably use some myself. I think she wanted to ride the hot Kim Jong-un wave after this new song in North Korea, this hot single. By the way, it's not just top 40, it's not in the top 40. It is the top 40. All 40 songs are this new Kim Jong-un single. Snap, crackle, pop?
Don't kill me. Don't kill me.
They're one jet.
Oh, they're Navy skate too.
Ubiquitous. Universal.
Some more exposure, please.
Yeah. Hey, can we go back when he's hugging that person who looks like the dig dug, the Eskimo right there? Clearly, he's grabbing her ass.
I know.
Can you see that? Go back.
I didn't see.
Look at that. Now let's play it again. Play it. Look at his bottom hand.
Oh yeah.
Pat, get a good squeeze. Swing. Squeeze, smack, smack.
Squeeze.
Oh man, I like that sound. And we do.
But
we
not
do.
on a
She
child.
just looked way too young.
Was that a child? I can't
think
tell.
it
With
looked
those,
like a-
I can't tell. It's an entire nation of people who look
Hold
like
on,
12-year-olds.
He was sitting, right?
Was he sitting? Play it again.
Yeah, he's sitting. Here it is.
It's got to be a child.
They love America so much. They stop being right.
Okay, all right. But you should. I didn't know
His
that was a
hand
child.
starts high
I
and then it
thought he
goes-
was just
Yeah,
groping
look at his arm.
Hey, look, his hand. Then it goes down. Then it goes down.
And then he kisses.
Wow, he's almost as bad as former Vice President Biden.
Almost.
Wow.
Oh, don't worry.
No
that
sniff
person will
needed.
starve to death
No
in a
sniff
week.
test. He was just ready for the taste.
He was going right
in for the
in.
taste.
He's a professional ice cream taster.
Yeah, nobody's going to stop him.
He's a deity.
11 holes in one, his very, very first
time.
game, which is just a weird. It's just a weird mythology for a deity. Oh, he flew too close to the sun on wings of ass grabbing, which brings us to this week's preemptive not going to be VP. Time to close for Kristi Noem.
And one of Trump's potential picks for vice president, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, is on the defense after strong backlash about a story of the governor shooting her dog. Chief Washington correspondent John Carl has the story. And John, this is a weird one.
Time to close. Endings and beginnings are ending and beginning now.
What I talk about in the book extensively when people are able to get it on Tuesday is to see the whole story and the truth, not the spin that the media has put on this story.
After you shot the dog, you, quote, realized another unpleasant job needed to be done. Walking back up to the yard, I spotted our billy goat. You said he smelled and would chase kids, so you took him to the gravel pit and shot him twice. It seems like you're celebrating the killing of the animals.
I know that it's time for things to close. I know that it's time for things to close.
That's great taste.
I hate that.
It's been brought to my attention that some components of this program are distasteful. You'll have it correct.
I love how she just like the reporter makes it seem like Kristi Noem is just deciding to execute animals in passing. Yeah. She's like, and then I was on the way to the pharmacy and I noticed a bunny crawling across the road, and I thought, that bunny is going to reproduce. I better go choke it to death. And then on to the pharmacy.
Like Michael Douglas and Falling Down, just.
Oh my! That poor Billy was just sitting there munching on some grass.
It's coming right for us.
Yeah, it smells and it chases, like a goat.
Yeah, it's the identity you see it though so much. Something like, look at me, I'm working trades. No, you're not. No, you're not though. You just you kill animals.
I almost feel like that was her attempt to be a tough guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like look at me, I'm tough. I killed the dog, and then on the way in, I spotted that billy goat, and I said,
Yeah. And then I smacked some kids as a youth pastor and told Kim Jong-un, what are you doing? I no-look jabbed Kim Jong-un. See that?
Put him in a timeout, said no more animal crackers for you, fat boy.
And then look at my welder's mask. I'm just like you. Ugh. So it comes down to some other vice presidential potentials here. Mm-hmm. Some people have a short list. Marco Rubio, probably not. J.D. Vance, Tim Scott, Elise Stefanik. Doug Burgum is apparently on the list.
Wow. Dracula made it?
Yes. Doug Burgum is on the list, and so's Byron Donalds. Who do you think? Do you think it's going to be someone from this list?
I hope not. I mean, I watched.
Tim Scott could work.
No.
How about no?
Exactly. Here's why. Tim Scott is the black version of Mike Pence. He is the most milquetoast politician that I have seen, and he was on Meet the Press on Sunday and fumbled a question that was very easy 4 times. 4 times. I was like,
was it about meeting Kim Jong-un?
No, it was about accepting the results of the election, and he answered it in the worst possible way, giving her all the room she needed. Go watch the clip. We'll put it out on social.
Oh, bring it back up on Mug Club. I didn't watch
Okay, yeah, we'll watch it. It was just like, I think it was at least 4 times, maybe 3 times she asked the question, and it was a very easy. You'll see.
Okay, ask me. Look. Here's how you answer these questions.
Are you willing to accept the results, no matter which way they go, for the 2024 election?
Your mother's a whore. Let's move on to the next question.
That assumes she had a mother.
Okay. Your dad's a man whore. Assume you have a dad. You were created in a lab by whores.
By whores.
No, the answer,
my father.
The answer is just it depends if they're still the same kind of shenanigans as the last election.
Yeah, if they're free and fair. There's 50 different ways you can answer that question and move on. And he answered it in the worst possible way, giving her all of the room she needed to be able to say, see, he wouldn't even accept the results. Out of that list of people, like if you put a gun to my head and said, pick one of those people, it would be probably, and I don't love these choices, so it's either J.D. Vance or Byron Donalds for me. I think there are reasons neither one of those guys work as VP, so I'd like it to be somebody else. But I certainly don't see any benefit in bringing in somebody like Marco Rubio or Doug Burgum. Like I think that would be the wrong move to make, and hopefully this list is a head fake.
Yeah,
and he's got somebody else that he's picked that is going to be the person to come in, because I just don't see a huge benefit. Even though I like some of the people on there, I just don't like them for VP.
Yeah, you guys can comment. Who would you like to see as VP? We have a pretty big sample size here with you folks who comment, so it'll be interesting to see. We'll probably notice a trend, and maybe get it to the right people.
Hunter Biden,
Alex Jones. Alex Jones.
Donald, let me just tell you what happened. There's some aliens in the West Room.
He would be the most invasive vice president ever. It's largely a ceremonial position. Every time he walks into the office, like,
all right, look, I know you're busy. You got a lot of things on your plate, but I don't know if you've seen what we've been doing with the STIs in Guatemala. Now, if you just, I have the papers right here, Mr. President. I have the papers. We've knowingly infected them with gonorrhea, and Hillary Clinton apologized for it, but I don't think it's enough. And I don't know if you know this, but the gay frogs are now having sex with other amphibious, even the vehicles.
What?
I'll come back later. I'll come back. I got a second wind.
No second wind. All right. Oh, I forgot. By the way, this is, a lot of people complain that this does not happen in the States because of LGBTQ, AIPM, whatever. We have, and we celebrate here at Loud with Crowder, Military Appreciation Month.
Yeah.
So, all month long.
When's the last drop?
I forget. All month long, if you use the promo code military at louderwithcrowder.com/mugclub, you'll get $10 off of your membership, and 10% of all the revenues are going to be donated to military charities.
Yes.
Of your choice, and of course, ones that we are vetting. So none of this happens without you. We aren't able to support them or do any of this good work. You know, we do Crowder Gives Back at Christmas, and of course, we've done things during natural disasters, but it's one thing to see everybody complain about LGBTQ, AIP, and Women's Appreciation Month, and of course, Black History Month, and actual heroes who have died for this country, or not died, people who have simply served their country, so a lot of whom have done it selflessly. They deserve a month. We're celebrating it all month and highlighting some stories for you. Here's one, actually. Last month, a Vietnam War vet, Paul Morgan, saved his friend using first aid training that he learned. And this is one thing, too. You know, Josh has talked about this. The military is a valuable place to acquire some skills, and certain, not only skills, but also discipline, mindset, and carrying that back into everyday life. Sometimes you carry back a lot of baggage, and that's tough, too. But sometimes those skills come in handy, and this man actually, this veteran, used the skills that he learned while in the military, namely first aid training, to save his friend.
Kentucky veteran's trip to the store ended up saving a friend's life. Paul Morgan stopped by the Walmart in Rockcastle County when he ran into his longtime friend Larry in the parking lot. He says the two were just talking when Larry suddenly collapsed. Morgan performed CPR, which he learned during his time in the military until first responders arrived.
I thought he was dead. I'll be honest with you. He turned blue in the face and stuff. And I just said, Lord, don't let him die. Sort of sad. When they was loading him, he looked at me and he said, I'll see you, Paul. And I know then it's going to be all right.
That's a great story.
That's nice.
And by the way, we always say a prayer, set a guard.
Mm-hmm.
He set a guard. He performed CPR. He said, Lord, don't let him die. Then sprang into action. So thank you. Thank you, Paul Morgan. We appreciate it. We salute you. And I think if we can track him down, we'll be sending him I don't know how much he'll use a swag bag, honestly. He looks like he dresses quite a bit nicer than the casual garb we sell at our shop. But he learned CPR actually 60 years ago.
Yeah.
60 years ago. Think about
Long
that,
time.
and he used it. Yeah.
That's crazy how you can remember stuff like that from so long ago, like the wartime training.
Yeah.
Like, I bet I still remember all my life-saving skills I learned in the Army.
Really?
Hey, Josh, that's great, because I think we got somebody choking in the conference room.
Oh man. God,
Yeah.
I wonder.
Oh, I'll go handle it.
Okay.
I got you, buddy. I got you. Come on. Come on. Get it out. Okay. You know, I think you got it. I think you got it. You got it. You got it. I think it's fine.
Well, I don't think he's fine, but question for you below. Who is a service member or vet who's made an impact on your life? Share those stories if you want to comment below. And
Josh didn't make much of an impact there.
Oh, you know what? Look,
Dude, I helped. Come on.
You traded up.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's your light roast?
What? Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
It's more of a dark roast, I think.
It's a full city roast is the term we use. It's right after the second crack. But you know what? That's irrelevant. Speaking of trying really hard,
that's why I don't eat
Hamas tries really hard to exterminate the Jews.
Wow.
Yeah.
Segue.
And they have been getting very passionate support across this country on campuses. And we've already covered this, and it's funny now, some people are saying it looks like these protests might be orchestrated, and they may be receiving some funding.
Oh.
Yeah, and you can go back to the installment where we discussed that within 48 hours. Of course, this is happening across the country, and of course, it is happening from bad outside actors, namely foreign actors, like the government of Qatar and Students for Justice for Palestine, or Students for Justice for Palestine. It's a really stupid name, but here you go. There's a silver lining here, and I remember, Gerald, we were there when the Black Lives Matter protests first started. Even before Barack Obama.
Yeah.
They started during Barack Obama's presidency. I'm trying to remember the very first one with Trayvon. Trayvon was kind of the start of that. I don't know if they called it Black Lives Matter. Then there was Mike Brown, hands up, don't shoot.
Yeah.
His hands weren't up. He was beating a cop in the head and reaching for his gun. So all of this was based on a lie. And here's what happens. It takes a while for people to figure out the lie. And once they figure out the lie, they become angry. You saw that with COVID. It took a little while for some people to come along. When they figure out the lie, they reject it. Some people go too far and then say, I don't trust anything anymore, like the moon landing or the Earth.
Just the Earth.
Right. In general. It's not a thing. But now you have students, they're calling for, divestment is what they've said, which means any companies, any entities that may have anything to do with Jews, when you actually look into it, and a ceasefire. Right? And what this really means is they want to turn universities into Marxist crap holes. And the ceasefire means that they want to leave Hamas in power so they can destroy all the Jews. If you actually listen to what it is that they are saying. And we have had boots on the ground. We have been listening to what they are saying. This is not about just a peaceful solution and a ceasefire, giving the hostages back and, let's say, ousting Hamas so there can be a newly elected government to represent the Palestinian people. No, this is about doing away with Israel completely, and a ceasefire conceding everything to Hamas. There can be no ceasefire with Hamas still in power. So here you go, as a recap. Across the country, protesters calling for ceasefire.
We call for immediate and permanent ceasefire.
We call for immediate and permanent ceasefire.
We condemn Greg Abbott.
We condemn Greg Abbott.
Oh, yeah, it's in his hands. Yeah.
No one will remember us 30 years from now.
True.
But you guys will go down in history.
You're right. Our biggest thing is also calling for a ceasefire and raising awareness on campus.
The university needs to call for a permanent ceasefire, an end to the occupation, and an end to the genocide.
Ceasefire now.
Ceasefire now.
Gosh! What? I'm taking a howitzer to that protest.
I'm sorry. At this point, I'm a murderous person. I'm kidding. Of course, I wouldn't do that. But listen, give peace a chance. Isn't that the chant that they were kind of co-opting a little bit or something like that? It's like, ceasefire now. What, are you going to drink Kool-Aid next and meet the spaceship, you zombies?
Well, come on. Well, you don't know what they meant. So let's go through some of the claims that they're making to justify this.
They have to be 40 someday.
I know.
And look back on this,
Well, the problem is then they have to look back and either continue with the lie or accept. All right, this was. You'll see that sort of like with angry, single, older, bitter feminists, right? They go, yeah, I was right about everything, and it's the rest of the world that was wrong. And then you see some people who go, you know what? Maybe we did some good, but we also did some bad, and I found out that family was more important, that career isn't the end-all, be-all. Or you see people who say, you know what? Yeah, we were wrong about, for example, some of the reasons justifying Vietnam, but probably shouldn't have spit on troops, and it wasn't their fault. They were drafted. Or you see people who say, no, man, we were actually getting things done. So that is actually kind of a good point. We'll see what 40-year-olds they end up being. And I have to tell you, it's going to be rougher for the women at 40. It really is. It's going to be rougher for the women because they are sacrificing a period of time right now. There is a clock that women have that men don't. And if you are 22, 23, 24, and you've been an entitled brat your whole life, it's tougher for you than it is for a man who tends to sort of mature a little bit later. And that's how feminism harmed an entire generation of women. Not not all women accepted it, but they actively harmed a generation of women. It really stemmed from campus and the media. So let's go through some of their claims to see if they hold water. A claim that they are making right now for their justifications, and you've heard this quite a bit, is that Netanyahu is the one who rejected the ceasefire. Right? He is the boogeyman of the day and far from perfect, just to be clear. But the truth is that the demands from Hamas, right, there was a talk of a ceasefire, okay. Then they started adding everything else to the list. So they want Israel to basically let everybody, out, return home, okay. They want to withdraw all of the IDF troops. Israel to just withdraw completely any and all troops and completely end the war, meaning leaving Hamas in power.
Yeah, exactly.
In the same places from which they fired rockets before there was ever actually a need for a ceasefire. That's basically, let me just summarize this for you. Israel leaves, Hamas stays in power, nothing changes, and I don't know, give it a few months, maybe a couple of years, more rockets will come in and more tunnels will be dug.
Yeah, and this isn't one of those like stalemate ceasefires where it's like, all right, let's stop shooting because nobody's making any progress. It's like, you're losing badly.
Right.
And you want us to stop winning? If you want us to stop winning, then lose.
Right.
Just completely lose. We're done. No more bullets have to be fired. You guys are completely out of power and justice will be served. People can go back to their homes. Vote for not terrorists to be in charge next time and maybe this won't happen again.
Right.
There's no ceasefire in the world like this in my mind where one side is dominating the other side and they say, stop shooting us, but give us everything we want.
Right.
What?
Right.
That's not how it works.
Right.
You capitulate. Done. It's over.
And this is the thing. It also just draws attention to the fact that these protesters here in the United States, they're not talking about a two-state solution and getting rid of Hamas. I haven't seen, if they exist, I haven't seen enough impassioned speeches of, hey, let's free the Palestinian people from the oppressive rule of Hamas. I've heard them talk about the oppressive rule of patriarchy, apparently, on campus that allows them to disrupt everyone's classes and graduation ceremonies to have to be canceled. I haven't heard them discuss freeing the Palestinian people from Hamas.
Hamas big fans of patriarchy, by the way.
Yes, huge fans of patriarchy.
Big fans.
As a matter of fact,
really rely on it.
They almost go too far. But sometimes they have a point. So this makes sense when you understand, okay, they are Hamas supporters, these protesters, full stop, when you watch this clip from MIT. Sacrifice blood and souls for Palestine.
Culture built off being a victim.
From water to water, death to Zionists.
Whew. Yeah, and here's the thing, though. I do appreciate, they're willing to spill their blood and their soul for Palestine and Hamas, they say, which kind of surprised me considering the kind of mental breakdowns you've seen over, for example, only not spilling your blood, but not being able to graduate.
I mean, I'm a little disappointed. I'm being restricted from a lot of things right now that I didn't expect to be for standing up for something that I believe in.
Accountability.
You mean like restricting kids from their classes?
I have family coming in who I have to let them know to not come to my graduation ceremonies.
Can I ask you a question? What do you think standing up for something you believe in means? Like, is this generation, are you aware that standing up for something you believe in means a cost?
Yeah.
When has anyone stood up for something they believed in and not had to pay a price? Yeah. Stood up for freedom, right? So you fought off the world's largest superpower one century, the British Empire, to become the world's greatest superpower the next century. Stood up for something you believed in. I don't know, for example, Tiananmen Square, where you saw people run over 10,000 people and students killed by the communist Chinese government, run over with tanks. Stand up for something you believe in. Staring down Hitler and Japanese imperialists. Standing up for even, hey, you know what? Standing up for something you believe in, being a whistleblower and having to flee the country. Standing up for something you believe in means inherently, it means taking a risk. Otherwise, you're not standing up for anything. This is the problem that people have, I think, if you have to put a finer point on it, is, wait, hold on a second. You're standing up. First off, you're disrupting the lives of innocent bystanders, of innocent students on campus, right? They've done nothing wrong, and now they don't get to go to graduation, or they don't get to attend the classes.
Which they paid for.
Or their parents, or we'll get to it, Joe Biden will absolve them of their student debt. Mm-hmm. And you Didn't expect any consequences? Do you think that standing up for what you believe in means everyone else has to fund it? That's the difference. That's why these protests, that's why these charades are completely meaningless. You can see it doesn't even occur to them. When they're saying we will spill our blood, we will spill our blood for Palestine. All right, you're just not going to be able to graduate. What? But I was standing up for something.
I thought I was supposed to do this. The problem they have is that they don't understand the difference between protesting and breaking the law. They have the right to protest. But if they start breaking the law, and here's what happens, the students get a warning. Right? Where else? In the middle of an armed robbery, hey, that's armed robbery. Make sure you don't do that. You have 5 minutes to leave. Nobody does that. You're just arrested. In this case, they're like, hey, you're breaking the law. You guys have to disperse. If you don't disperse, you'll be arrested. And guess what? Sure. That has consequences to it. She could have stood up for what she believed in and done it in a legal way and then gone about her merry life and not be facing these consequences. It is when she chose to break the law. You don't get to just break the law because you believe in something.
Right. But also, I would even argue further, you're not really standing up for anything if you're simply protesting on campus and there are no consequences. Yeah.
I get it, but she could have gone out there and chanted a few times, and when the cops showed up and said, you guys have to get out of here, she could have left, gone on, checked the virtue signal box, and moved on with her life.
Standing up for something you believe in is going to Gaza right now and fighting with Hamas.
Exactly. And the problem is, she's not upset for standing up for what she believes in. She's upset because she doesn't even believe in this, and now she's losing her graduation.
Right.
If she truly believed in it, and she really was a martyr for the cause, she would be happy to be kicked out. That's what martyrs are. They're happy victims.
I don't particularly like what Muhammad Ali did in his younger life, right? Cassius Clay turned into Muhammad Ali. A lot of you don't know. We did a whole segment on that. Became a conservative later on, actually campaigned for Orrin Hatch. But very young, right? Refused not only to serve, go to Vietnam, but if you look at a lot of his politics and you look at what he did with Farrakhan, Malcolm X, you look at some of the Islamic extremism, his racist views in interracial couples. But he did stand up for something. He wasn't able to box. I believe he lost his boxing license for 3 years in the prime of his life. That is a risk. That's standing up for something you believe in at that point. And by the way, he wasn't negatively affecting other people around him. You could argue if everyone followed suit, we wouldn't have had troops for a war. I don't necessarily think that Vietnam was the kind of war that was entirely justified looking back anyway. But the point remains, he decided to take a risk, endangering and harming no one around himself but himself. No one else.
Yeah.
And he lost his earning ability during the prime of his years for 3 years. I will say I do respect taking that risk. That is standing up for yourself. Mm-hmm. Doing something expecting no consequences is not standing up for anything, to be clear. And this is what these people want on this campus. This is why you're seeing the backlash. They basically want a caliphate. They want their own communist utopia. We showed you this last week, right, at George Washington University. And I believe I misspoke because we had clips from Georgetown and George Washington University. This is George Washington University, where we showed you this is actually about, when you look at their leaders, flat out promoting Marxism.
So basically saying that, like, we are all fighting the same battle, whatever it may look like, wherever we might come from, we're all fighting the same battle, and it's important to understand where our fellow comrades are coming from. Just like they try to say that cops are members of the
You're not. Class. You have transgender individuals wanting to take a dump in the girls' bathroom. You're not all together with Hamas.
The American imperialist system, and it is a tool of the capitalists. Just like the cops are the tools of the capitalists, the state of Israel is a tool of the capitalists.
Yeah. If Hamas saw that, they'd be like, why are you letting the women talk? What is happening?
Yes, exactly.
They don't know their audience at all.
So you saw that, but I don't know if you've seen this now. You've seen this at George Washington University. Now, these students have actually been holding communist-style trials, calling for, and you'd think there may be some consequences, actual executions, death for members of the administration.
The people find you guilty. Guillotine.
Is there another guillotine?
We see you.
So they're role playing?
Do they mean assault students by allowing Israel to exist?
I love their live view counter at 36.
Watch this.
A vested interest in the genocide of Palestinian people as they profit off of Zionist weapons and purchases that refuse to divest from apartheid as they line their pockets. The people
Oh, they'd have to find a guillotine for you that could make it through the neck fat.
Sharpen the blades.
Look at this is
dull them, dude.
These are the people who talk about the oppression of patriarchy in the Westerns and travesties of justice.
Yeah.
But if they had their way, it would be, hey, a bunch of gender studies majors have said that you're guilty, therefore we kill you. Where have we seen this kind of justice before?
Now, choice is yours. Exile or death. Exile. Sold. We ran in the cold sweat.
It's basically the same thing, in case you guys don't know.
Similar.
How do you
That's what they want?
That? You're right. They're actually calling for the death, and everybody around just. I don't know what kind of groupthink mentality you have to be in to go,
retarded.
Yeah, that's wrong. You should divest. What's the punishment? Oh, guillotine.
Yes.
Wow.
I was thinking like a fine.
I mean, like, I don't know, like a public shaming. Can we throw fruit?
Maybe like a penalty
or something?
I mean, you don't get the guillotine for tax evasion even.
I didn't know we had those around as well. It's not practical.
I didn't know that buying from a Jewish bakery warranted decapitation.
They have no muscle to enforce any of it.
None of it.
So it's just like a bunch of nerds.
That's why they rely on the muscle of information, of big tech and of media and of these giant nonprofits and these giant foreign entities donating to colleges. And this is something else too. You think of strange bedfellows. This is what I've said, progress for progress's sake. It can't work, right? It has to collapse under its own genderqueer / pro-terrorist weight, because LGBTQ, AIP, Western feminists, Islam, kind of strange bedfellows, but you're still seeing these people, for whatever reason, at least performatively flocking to Islam now.
I really recommend it. There are a lot of people who are converting. There's a lot of people who are reading it. I'm not saying I'm going to convert. I'm not saying that I wouldn't. And I don't know. I know that this is exactly what I need right now. I just wanted to say thank you and just point out how excited I am.
One, the easiest one maybe, chop their head off.
If you're praying, go up there, but if you're not, the rest doesn't feel like my home. No, I'm talking to somebody else. We're trying not to.
Present butts.
What happened to cultural appropriation? We're just showing up. It's like, yeah, what are we doing? Yeah, I mean, I'll face Mecca. I'll do it with you. I mean, I still blow guys, but it's okay.
Not you. You're somebody else at this point.
Yeah, of course. So you just rewind 30 seconds or fast forward for context. Like, all the gay stuff, and I was just hitting poppers in the bathroom. But I'll pray to Allah. I'll pray to Allah with you guys. You're mad about Taco Tuesday?
Yeah. I don't think this counts as jihad either. Like, if you show up to Allah and he's like, "Oh, what did you do?" "Well, I protested." "And did they burn you for this?"
Yeah.
"No. Yes. I couldn't graduate.
I faced Mecca with a killer hangover."
I was on the struggle bus.
I went through an Islam phase when I was like 20.
Yeah.
By the way,
that's like torn Levi's or law school for you.
Yeah.
I think I still remember the prayer. Allahu.
Yeah.
No, that's not it. What? No, that's not it.
Thank you for suicide bombs. So sweet. Thank you for the halal food we eat. Thank you for the rockets that sting.
I don't know.
Thank you, Allah, for something killing things.
I
don't know. Amen. Allah Akbar.
By the way, that there was the clip that we showed of the imam. It was talking about how to deal with gay people. I think we have a longer.
Yeah, in case you're wondering, Islam doesn't limit the killing of the gays to just beheadings. They get very creative.
If there's homosexual men, the punishment is one of 5 things.
Oh.
Okay. There we go.
The easiest one maybe.
Talking it out?
Chop their head off.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay.
That's the easiest.
Maybe there are other options.
Easiest is very
Let's
easy.
hear them out.
Second, burn them to death.
Okay, well,
it's almost worse.
Third, throw them off a cliff.
This just seems like a pattern.
Hard to find a cliff.
Fourth, tear down a wall on them so they die on
Oh,
their
I'm
laps.
noticing a pattern here.
It's destructive.
Maybe 5 is good.
Fifth,
Let's wait.
a combination of the above.
Oh, come on.
Oh, what?
What?
Set him on fire, chop off his head, throw down a wall, and then what's the other one? Throw him
A combination.
E is all of the above? What is this, a multiple choice test?
Throw him off a wall. Throw him off of a cliff. Have the wall fall onto him, and then it
Light
lights
him
a
on
blaze.
fire and beheads him.
Yeah.
I've seen Humpty Dumpty before. I get it.
I mean,
They watch too much Coyote and Roadrunner.
Yes, exactly.
I really did think
They just paint a tunnel on the wall, but with dicks in it. Look.
If you are attracted to that.
He was saying it with a smile, too. He
I know.
was really happy about it. It brought him a lot of joy.
And now your father being disappointed in you doesn't seem so bad.
At least she ain't over there.
Yeah. Hit the like button if you want to just book these protesters a one-way flight to Gaza. At least a couple of them.
We should go down with the sign-up sheet.
We'll pay for it. I will pay.
You want to spill your blood? Fine.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Go over there.
Your terms are acceptable, is what they'll say, not us.
Ooh, is this ticket to the West Bank? Because that would be better.
Yes. By the way, you probably shouldn't include your demands on paper regarding hot lunches and vegan-free food and zip ties and lotion for when you get ashy. I don't think that Hamas is going to be ultra-responsive. Here's the silver lining, right? Well, other students, commonly referred to as normal people,
right?
They got fed up and they started finally pushing back, responding to the pro-terrorists.
Get him, he said.
It's like a slow march in.
Hold the umbrella line!
There's the Navy SEALs there for some reason.
They're the penguin.
There's pepper spray.
And they're always so surprised when they shove an officer and they get pepper sprayed. Like, what?
Hamas has 0 national championships.
Don't bring that to an SEC school. Keep your protests to liberal colleges, guys.
Flipping him off for saying USA.
Look, this is anecdotal, but we've been showing you a lot of videos of the protests and the people therein. Was it as shocking to you the normalcy that you saw in those ones? Like, the people looked normal. Like, they didn't look like they live in a sewer.
Also, no masks.
Yeah.
Which that's fantastic.
They look kind of how we used to imagine college students looking.
Yes.
Remember, it used to be like, you might get some frat, but it's kind of fratty, yeah. People would say. If you go there at the wrong time, it's kind of fratty. Or if you were like in your late teens or early 20s, like, a lot of good-looking college girls down there. Now it's often just awful at the protests.
That's never been said of Notre Dame, though.
That's the one area where, they look normal.
Yeah, they do.
They look happy. Do you see, anecdotal, do you see the difference? And by the way, to cover more of these, we sent our own on-the-ground correspondent, Finnegan.
Oh, Lord.
Unfortunately, the campus protests here, because they had committed so many crimes, I believe, had already moved to somewhere outside of the courthouse or the jail. So we had to send Thomas Finnegan there to get the scoop.
They keep chanting Free Palestine. Not sure who she is, but I'm hoping they'll let her go soon. Hi, Stephen. Here in front of the detention facility in Collin County, and it's pretty rowdy, as you can see. I don't think I should be here. Who's down there?
Let's go all the way down there. We'll interview with you.
Over there? You want to go now?
Not me.
No? Who am I interviewing over there? You can see to my right that there's generators, so that my left? What? I know left from right. As you can see over here, they have some generators, so they're getting ready for, I assume, the dead of night. So this will go on for hours and hours. They're chanting Free Palestine, and they've also got the free snacks. So it seems to be a theme. It's pretty loud here. What's that?
There's kids here and you're smoking. What are you doing?
Pardon me?
There's kids here and you're smoking.
I didn't see a no smoking sign. Would you like to do an interview? No? Okay.
The man with the scarf was in almost all of our shots. I think he was really proud of it.
There. No? What kind of fabric is that? Looks nice and airy. It's good for the summer. There's somebody behind me. Oh, he's trying to stand up about tobacco. There you have it. They don't want to talk. They're just drawing on the walls. It's going to rain tomorrow. That'll be gone. And I think it's time for another smoke.
That was good. He found the right place this time. Well, no, I mean, I'm trying to say that he's never been to the right place yet.
Yeah.
That ended up being the right place, so let's baby step.
You know, you're in charge of the purse strings. You're in charge of the purse strings. That cost us a pretty penny.
I've tried to fire him several times.
I know, I can't.
Have you ever tried to sit down with Finnegan
he's
and
the
fire him?
only only employee we've ever had here who's in the union.
I talked to him about it, by the way, and he seemed pretty adamant that he's never getting fired.
That's my point.
He's very confident.
Pretty confident, and we were supposed to be at the university. We showed up there.
Right.
We didn't even know that we had to go there.
Was that they moved to the jailhouse? Is that what that was?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
a bunch of their
He must have
friends
just
got
known.
arrested?
He's a smart guy. That was a fun day. I was there. You might have seen me a couple times. I did some dancing and some chanting. I don't know.
Did you?
Yeah. I said, free Firestein. Yeah. They had no idea. They had no clue. They thought I was part of them. No, they definitely knew.
They did. And they probably heard Firestein and were like,
yeah.
Jew.
Yeah. Well, they wish.
Jew. They have like a Judar.
Yeah, I was just telling everybody I was there to see my uncle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had done something weird.
Yeah.
But they totally believed it. But yeah, there's a couple of things that didn't come out, which like that guy, the guy kept saying, you can't, you're smoking, there's kids around.
Yeah.
That guy's funny. He said it like 6-7 times. You can't, and I looked at him, I go, I don't think that's a thing. And he's like, what? I go, I don't think that's a thing. And then Finnegan goes, yeah, I didn't see a sign.
Yeah.
He's like, there's no smoking, there's kids. I'm like, oh, you guys really care about the rules.
Yeah, I'm sure Hamas takes that to heart.
Why are you here at the jail, by the way? You care about the rules?
Yeah.
Your friends are in, they obeyed the rules, I'm sure.
What about calling for the deaths of everyone from the river to the sea? I think that would include children as
Yes, but that would not be through the cruelty of secondhand smoke. Secondhand smoke kills more people than actual smoke. There's no science to back it. It was a big scare, but we still we play by those rules.
And you know what, Gerald, you guys talking all this smack about Finnegan, but he was out there, dude. He was risking it all, man. He picked up a piece of chalk and wrote Mug Club on the police property, the wall, right? The wall they're all drawing on the walls.
Yeah.
Free Mug
Piece of chalk on the floor, picked it up, wrote Mug Club. I was like, that's pretty cool. Then a couple minutes later, as we're leaving, a lady went and grabbed an officer from inside. And the officer came over. We have footage we didn't put it in there, but we have footage of the officer coming over. Yeah. He was like, hey, you took the kid's chalk.
We didn't take the...
And then we're like, no, we found it on the ground. He's like, you can't take the kid's chalk. And the lady's like, yeah, you stole my kid's chalk. And like, she picked up her kid while wearing her fucking
Rule of law.
scarf or whatever.
What happened to the collectivism? By the way, you're not even stealing it. It's on the ground.
Also, you're defacing public property. And the cop is what? Like, I can't do it also?
They tried to say that you took a child's
Yeah,
chalk?
yeah. Finnegan took it. Yeah, but-
Finnegan took the child's chalk.
And then there was we wrote Mug Club on one of the walls. And this
So they
lady-
went and got an officer?
Yes.
The protesters?
From inside, yes.
The defund, the no police.
And the officer came out and was like on their side. I'm like, what is this,
These
dude?
people want you to believe that they will police their own community as it relates to rape, as it relates to domestic battery, shootings, but not the unforgivable crime of using chalk that you found on the ground.
They're protesting the police, but couldn't have the ability to just let a piece of chalk go.
Hilarious.
Or just tell you, like, hey, man, that's my chalk. I don't want you using it.
Yeah.
That still would have been more adult than going and getting the police over ground chalk. It's ground chalk, by the way. Ground chalk, it's not a finders keepers thing. It has its own clause. Ground chalk is community chalk.
It is.
They make it
Finders
clear
users.
they're anti-police until they can use them for their advantage.
That's hilarious.
They're clear about it. And so we wrote the Mug Club on there, and this lady comes over. This guy was like, he was trying to like intimidate us by standing near us and stuff. We're like, okay, whatever. And then he's just standing there not doing anything, just kind of hanging out. And this lady came over, poured water on the Mug Club to drown it out. And as soon as she did that, he came over and was like, yeah, I'm going to help out.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, he waited for the woman to take charge.
Let
and
it
then
not
he
be
came
said that
over.
chivalry's dead.
Real tough guy.
I love beta males. They're fantastic.
Well, I don't even know if they qualify. That would be an insult to beta males.
Zeta?
These are people who went and got police officers over ground chalk.
Yeah.
And they
that was the funniest part. It was like, this isn't community chalk?
It really comes down to at what point, and we've done this for a long time, going completely independent. Of course, none of this happens without you. You can go to louderwithcrowder.com/mug club. Right, you use the promo code military, $10 off, 10% of proceeds go to military. Going completely independent, that's a risk. Right, doing this without a net, that's a risk. Allowing ourselves to be demonetized. It may not say we're not risking our lives, but we are risking the livelihoods of everyone here when you're talking about millions of dollars lost that we don't make on YouTube in comparison to our competition. That's a risk. Of course, I've been banned for trespassing from more places than I can count. It usually just means a 1-year ban.
And countries. I mean, well, you can go there. They'll do
That's
one
true.
of those 5 things to you.
And countries and campuses. Of course, I've had people attempt to kill me. You've seen people assault me on camera and, of course, respond There's a risk. There's always a risk. You accept the consequence. This is the problem, is you will no longer have men who will stand in the fire and fight for you, or women, by the way, if you've changed the entire mindset of standing up for what you believe in, including risk. You have now conditioned an entire generation of people to say, yeah, we get what we want by disrupting, and there are no consequences. Guess what? Those people, when facing real consequences, in other words, before entering into the fray where they know beyond any shadow of a doubt that there are consequences, they won't. They will be cowards. You see this? Is it funny? Is it trivial? Sure. But going to the police officers to get them to help you because of chalk being used.
While you're yelling in their faces at their jailhouse.
When you're yelling in their faces, or, for example, protesting and blocking access to student classrooms, and then being surprised and furious that you won't be able to attend graduation or perhaps actually graduate. People who have faced these kinds of consequences, as we've seen, and they've tucked tail, what do you think these people are going to do if there's an invasion on our soil? Women, when you look at these men, what do you think they are going to do when they are faced with a violent man who wants to do you harm? Do you think these men who have completely avoided consequences their whole life, do you think they're going to willingly face them for you? I will say this, you don't need to take needless risks. As a matter of fact, that's foolish. You need to be smart in how you approach risks. But you can't trust a man, women out there, you cannot trust a man who has never risked anything, whether it's his personal safety, whether it's his reputation, whether it's his livelihood. And the same thing, women, right? 2 women, and I will say men, you can't trust a woman who isn't willing to risk anything for your family unit. Women typically don't go to the front of battle. I know that now some of them do. I don't support that. But the point is, you need to see a man who is willing to risk something to trust that he is going to fight for you. And men, you need to see a woman who is willing to risk something for the entity that is you protect, that family. You know how these people are going to react in the real world. You know how these people are going to react when they are in roles of government, when they are in roles of public education, for example, building planes that start breaking down. Do you think any of them are ever going to accept responsibility? That's why people are turning on this. And that's the fear that we actually have. I mean, if you look at great leaders of the past, people who we respect, anyone. You can go to Winston Churchill. You can go to George Washington. You can go, for example, to Michael Jordan or to Wayne. Every single one of them took a risk, and they were willing to face the consequences and accept responsibility for their country, George Washington, Churchill, for their team, Michael Jordan, for their family, men who have gone out there and died in home intrusion events. We've always judged men by what they do in the face of consequences. And by the way, we've talked about the same thing with women. Mama Bear, right? If you look at any nickname that we use for people, Maverick, Mama Bear, Papa Bear, Rebel, every single one of them, if you look up the definition, includes the necessity of incurring some risk that come with consequences. The problem with these protests across this country is they don't want any of the consequence. Wherever you line up, if you hate Netanyahu, if you believe in a one-state solution as it relates to Palestine, fine. Let's take that out of the equation. Every single one of these people are completely risk and consequence averse. That's the issue. That's the problem. That's why you see it differently. And by the way, it was often the case, too, for these student protesters in the 70s. It wasn't the same for MLK. Wasn't the same for Malcolm X, who, by the way, had some horrible ideas with which I disagree, but they were willing to accept some kind of a risk and consequence. Having a culture that doesn't accept any risk or consequences while they violate the law or they disrupt the rest of your lives, what does that tell you? That tells you that all of these people, they want the virtue signaling, they want the clicks, they want the headlines, they want the fame, but who takes the risk? Who deals with the consequences? If it's not them, it's you. It's you. That's the issue. Whether it's leaving trash all over USC and Columbia, not picking it up, you're left holding the bag. Whether it's graduation not taking place or missing 2 dozen classes that you've paid for, they're not the ones dealing with the consequences. You are. There is no meaning in protests or civil unrest if you demand the glory while you refuse to accept the consequences and you thrust that risk on somebody else. These are children, and they are, this was what bothers me, is when people say, you know what, though, I respect their right to go out and, first off, I don't. I acknowledge the right that everyone has in this country to speak freely, to be clear. You're not going to trip us up on some First Amendment bullshit here as though we're inconsistent. Of course, anyone can say whatever they want. I don't care if they say, hey, I want all Jews exterminated. It's wrong. It's horrible. It's evil. But of course, I accept their right to say whatever they want regarding the Middle East conflict. Just like I accept the right of some Westboro Baptist, including all 14 members, half of them have flippers. It's awful. They have the right to say whatever they want. But I do not respect them getting up and doing what they're doing. People say, I respect them willing to make their voices heard. I don't. Not only do I have no respect for it, but because they are out there disrupting everyone else, contributing members of society, I actually have less respect. Everyone starts off in life, at least in my opinion, with a neutral amount of respect. Everyone deserves a basic level of respect, just like we all deserve a basic level of human rights and government serves to protect them. Everyone starts off with base level respect. The rest of it is earned. I not only don't respect what these people are doing, I have less respect for them than before they started, because they're not risking anything, just like student loans, just like rent forgiveness. You're the one risking it. You're the one at risk, and you didn't choose that risk. It was thrust upon you. And you know what? That happens a lot we've talked about this military, the military here in the United States. It's Military Appreciation Month. Guess what? You may not like them. You may think they're baby killers. You may actually support the military and maybe be against some of these wars, and that's a totally reasonable position to hold. But guess what? They're risking something. They're risking something. If you wonder, why do I respect guys A, B, and C and just despise these folks, take a look at the risk that they are taking on and the consequences they accept. You may subconsciously, we all do it subconsciously. I want you to do that consciously. Say, okay, what skin does this person have in the game? And look at every issue. Look at every issue through that lens. Hold on a second. Al Gore, carbon offsets, not being able to purchase SUVs, electric cars only. What skin does he have? Well, he flies in a private jet. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Abortion, taxpayer, on demand. Well, hold on a second. That student doesn't pay taxes. We already pay for the birth control. We already pay for the condoms. Wait, hold on a second. Israel, Palestine. Well, that person's not taking any risk. Wait, hold on a second. Yeah, Ukraine needs our. Well, you're just. Not only are our elected officials sending money and not taking a risk, they're not joining the military, but they're not even sending their own money. They're sending your money. There's no risk there. There's none whatsoever. No risk, no consequences, no respect from me. You can comment below if that's a finer point on it. I think that's what everyone is thinking, and that's why I think there is this backlash. And I do appreciate the risk and the consequences that are taken on by those in our uniforms, and that's why we are offering a Military Appreciation Month discount. Enter in the code military at louderwithcreditor.com/mugclub. $10 off, and 10% of proceeds will go to military charities. And you know what? We're all taking a risk here. Millions of dollars right now as we gear up and invest into the next election to actually ensure, I don't know if Tim Scott answered this way, the freest and fairest election of all time with boots on the ground, real live analytics, and the ability to call the media on their BS as it happens. It's a fundamental shift, and we're taking a risk. We're taking a risk. We fully expect to be removed from YouTube either before or during that stream. And we have no promise of making back what we are investing in there, but you have asked for it, and you deserve it, and we appreciate your support. We can only take this risk with the support of you, because we know that when you give us your membership, you're taking a risk with no promise of anything in return. We hope that we deliver. You can continue right now. We're going to play Spot the Tranny on Mug Club.
Oh, boy.
Join up, continue watching right now on Mug Club. If not, hey, YouTube, you don't take any risks. You work with foreign governments. Piss off.